Okay, test. Audio check. Digital audio communications. How's that? Audio test. Here we go. Audio input looks like it's working now. Hey, welcome. Welcome everybody. It's John the Net Guy. You'd think we'd had all this figured out after last week. Last week was an absolute great show. I had a ton of fun. Had a bunch of other guests on here. I'm just taking a look real quick to see if we have anybody in the chat already. I'm going to say hi to SD Green. Thank you, SD Green, who just automatically started to follow. We love that. This is John the Net Guy. I do this show every single Tuesday, hopefully. This is the 52nd show, which means it's the last one of the year. We got through an entire year's worth of shows with very minor technical difficulties. I'm going to make sure everything is working here. I see some people. I see one that says no sound. Yes, I had the headphones from last week still for some reason set as the audio device. And we got another one. Randy Days checking in. I hear you. So we got sound now. Another check in from our friend Jonathan Talks Hardware. He says Wisecam arrived. Now that was funny. I gave away 10 different things last week to different people, and I got a few Wisecams shipped off to people. So that's Jonathan who won one of our Wisecams. That's awesome. Trying a couple different machines today, so bear with me if things take a little bit longer to load or maybe don't look exactly like they normally do. I really appreciate it. If you're just tuning in, again, here's how you find the deals and the products. If you're on Amazon already, you're seeing the carousel, you're going to see what's up. If you're on any of the other services, check the description. It's got links to the items that we're going to see today. And if you're on one of those services, just hit the Amazon button for the show and then just give me a follow and then scoot on out of there. So no, don't do that. But no, definitely do that because it helps me grow on Amazon. I really want to grow to a list, they call it. That's my goal. I'm trying to get there. Need to get 2,000 of you generous people to join on and get notified every time I go live with that follow button. Taking a quick look, I'm going to add some of the other services that we don't have on right now. Let's get Twitter on there, Facebook, and Twitch, because you never know. I get like half a viewer an episode on Twitch. So I'm going to pull up the first product in the carousel here, and I'm trying this new. This is great. Oh, great. I have to open System Preferences, click Unlock. I'm going to allow Chrome to use the screen. I'm going to tell it to open later. Let's see if it did it enough to let me share a window. And I want to share my Safari window. Give me 1 second here. There we go. Okay. And the way we get there is amazon.com/shop/the net guy. Going to share this for you. Perfect. Okay. 1 second. I'm going to have to quit out of this browser and join right back in. You gotta love this. This is going to be the show that does it in. I'm using a new computer here. And of course, as soon as I go to share, I have to restart it. That's what it's going to be like. Let me know in the chat what you guys did for the holiday. I know a lot of people spent some time last week right before the 51st show with us, right before the holiday. But let me know how your holiday was. I got some pictures I'll share too if you guys are interested in those. And we'll get this restream going again. And we'll get in there and I'll be able to share my screen. Hope knock on whatever wood this is. That's just how it works, isn't it? Share screen window. Let's go share this window and unable to share screen. Update the system permission. Allow screen recording from the browser. Oh, great. System permissions. Let me make sure I did that. And if not, I might have to do this a different way. Screen recording. Yeah. Yeah, that worked. Oh, my luck. Okay, well, let's do this. Let's share a Chrome tab. It's got to be able to do that, right? You would think, if we're good, we'll be able to do a Chrome tab for you. Amazon.com/shop/the net guy. I got to make sure I'm logged out because you guys don't want to see all my purchases. I got way too much on here that I've been buying. Okay. We'll make this work. Chrome tab. Share. Okay, perfect. There you guys are hopefully seeing my Amazon shop. These are the different products that we're going to be showing today. If you ever want to know where that is, again, go to my Amazon shop and take a look at the show number 52, last but not least show. number 52. That's going to have the 6 products we're looking at today. Some kind of funny, nerdy products here. If you guys are nerds, you're going to like the little, I'm calling it a NUC alternative. So it's that same style of the Intel NUC. And it's an Intel-based mini PC that we got sent out to us. So we're taking a look at that. We're going to beat it all up, but it actually looks pretty cool so far. Then we're going to get into some automotive stuff. If you're an automotive tinkerer, maybe you got that check engine light. Some of these cool products at the end will help out. And I've got a dash cam that I think might have just killed the dash cam market, like with just all the cool features it has and a really neat price. So we're going to do that. First up, though, is going to be these lights. So let me go back here, and I got to reshare another Chrome tab for you guys. That's just how this thing works. So we're going to do this, and this is these lights here. So these lights are driveway lights. So if you're interested in, maybe lighting alongside your driveway and you don't want to run cables, you don't want to run any other electrical, that's what these guys are for. So I just put them here on my stand so you guys can see them. I'm going to turn them off in here in Restream just so you can see them as well. So yeah, these are the lights themselves right here. Now they've still got a little bit of water in them because we've had it wet and wild here in Washington. Look at this, all the water's coming out of them. They're completely waterproof. And to prove that, let's see if I can do this. Can I go on the top camera? Is it going to let me do it? Okay. So yeah, there's the lights actually turning on when I cover the sensor. So you can see lights on. It's automatically turning those little lights on, and they don't look very bright in here, but when you're coming home at night, these are super bright. Now, would I want to drive over these? No, these are not metal. So you can line your driveway with them, but definitely put them off the beaten path. And then second, you can put them in walkways. They're definitely flat. You can mow right over top of them. You're not going to hit them. They do connect to this spike, which you can put in here, but it is removable. So if you have a nice area and you don't, need a spike, you can just lay it flat in there and they'll stay. There's an on-off switch in the back, which you can, use. It is gasketed, so it's got a water gasket around it, so you're not going to get that hurt. But yeah, that's the product right there. And as you can see, every time I cover up the light sensor, the light turns on. They're set for dusk to dawn. So if you get these out there, they've got a pretty large solar area on them. They're going to keep your path lit with no extra wiring. It's $29 right now. Let me go ahead and see if I've got my Google Photos logged in, which I do. I'm going to go to sharing here and see if I can show you what these look like. I actually went out and just snapped a couple pictures of my walkway. Give me 1 second here. I'm going to go ahead and turn the sharing on so you can see it. So this is actually what they look like in my walkway outside right now. I literally went out there just a few minutes ago, took a couple of pictures here. Now they don't look incredibly bright on my iPhone here, but they're actually bright enough that you can see pretty well. And they've got that warm light color. So if that's what you're going for, they're going to look really good. So I'm going to check the chat real quick, make sure everybody's following along. Jim Batters, is there a box or device? So a desktop, here we go. He's got a question. And a laptop can share the same monitor, but not at the same time, but connected. Yes, you're talking about a KVM switch there, Jim. Pretty easy. There's quite a few of them out there. I've gone to a couple different brands. TE Smart, TE, letters TE Smart, makes a really good one. There's a bunch of other ones there. Jeremy said he spent the entire weekend with his family. Awesome, Jeremy. That is awesome when you guys get to spend with family. We got to do a little bit of that too as well. And looks like Andrew says, saw my daughter. That's awesome. And my sister and her kids built a PC for my niece. We got a PS5 for the nephew. Daughter got a teddy bear, is obsessed with it, and she is 11 months tomorrow. Awesome. Thank you so much. And Jonathan already sent me this. He sent me this earlier. This was a really cool gift that he got. He got the Odyssey G9. And now, is that the CG9 or whatever, the curved? Because it looked like curved when you sent me the picture. He had it, I think it was Minecraft, and it was just a huge curved display. But man, I got to get in your parents, man. I think they give out pretty good gifts. Mine never gave gifts like that. But if you're just checking the carousel out, these are an 8-pack actually. So I've only got 2 of them. I stole 2 out of the yard from where they're installed. And these are available right now in the carousel for $29. Solar powered, no lighting you have to deal with. They are plastic body. So they make some that are metal if you're interested in that. But if you're not going to run these over, this is an affordable way. I think it's just what, $3 a light, three and a quarter a light, and you get a rechargeable light. There's no batteries that you have to replace either. The batteries come with them pre-installed. So that was the first product up there. I'm going to go back over here, see if I can share my Chrome browser with you guys. I'm trying to figure out how to share this browser faster so I don't have to go back and forth as much, because I know you guys don't like that as much. So let's go take a look here. Next product up is actually going to be a cool one. I'm going to do a install for you today. This is from Yoga LED, or iYoga LED is the company name. And unfortunately, because of security, every single time I share a new Chrome tab with you, I gotta move it. So here we go. These are some what they're calling modern outdoor lights. Now, these things are pretty slick, I have to say. So $159, that seems like expensive, but if you've gone out shopping for lighting right now, it's not that bad. And I think there's even a coupon, or there was a coupon a little bit earlier. You can get 2 of these, but they're actually an up-down light. So they're going to cast light up and down. They got a really attractive black finish, so it's going to work regardless of what house color you have. And you can support your favorite teams with this. I got to show you this because I thought this was just awesome. So they've got, a nice light color here. Well, let's go take a look at some of the things that you can do. You can have the light cast up and down in any color you want. You can have it go through a sequence, like a rainbow sequence or a fade. You can up the saturation, you can down it, but it has 8 different zones. That's another cool thing I'll show you once we get it installed. So the cool thing about these zones, so you put these sconces on the front of your house, you program the top lights maybe for one zone, the bottom lights for another zone, and you can have them to be split into 2 different colors. So that's a really cool feature of this here. It uses 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi, but you don't actually have to hook the Wi-Fi up. I'm going to see if we can go down here and look at some of their examples. So there's the buttons and how you would use them. I'm going to come down here a little bit. So there's the single colors, and then there's the multicolor that they're showing you here as well. Man, what a great idea for a pool area. If you're down in Florida, like Jonathan Talks Hardware, you better have some of these at your pool, because you can actually do some cool light show with them and some other stuff. I do know that some of the customer reviews are kind of cool on them, and they actually included, I'm trying to see, some of the links that had multicolor in them, which was kind of neat. So you can do one. Yeah, here we go. There's one right there. So this Vine customer has one that is one color on top and one that's one color on the bottom, which is pretty slick. So you just kind of program them that way. So again, that was from, Yoga LED. And here we go. Zachary's in. He's got just a smile. Welcome, Zachary. Good to see you here, my friend. I'm just looking at a couple other people. G9 Neo. There we go. First super ultra wide is what Jonathan Talks Hardware is saying about that monitor. Let's go take a look here. So Jim asked, what kind of box was that again? It's called a KVM switch. I actually have a couple that might be on the way here, but it's a KVM switch. Is going to let you switch between a laptop and a PC. And the nice thing there is you can have one keyboard and mouse. So KVM, keyboard, video, mouse. It'll switch all 3 of those inputs on a monitor between those 2 devices. The one company that I've done work for before is TE Smart, TE Smart, and they make a pretty good one. I actually was really happy with that one. So there we go. I'm going to pull up you guys' favorite toy here. Now, I haven't been electrocuted once with this thing. Haven't even been electrocuted twice, but this is my electrical station. When I'm doing any sort of electrical installs, I like to bring this thing out because it really mimics what a home electrical system might be. Down here in the lower corner is what would normally be our breaker. So consider this our, home circuit panel. It's going to have a little number, show us how much load we've got. We've got our first outlet, we've got a switch, and then we've got our load up here. Now, this switch is not actually plugged in. It's just bypassed. So it's going to send power always to that area out here. But just imagine there's a switch that you can throw there. I use this a lot of times when I'm demoing smart switches. So that's maybe where you might have seen it before. I'm going to move a couple things over here. This guy's going to have to come over so that you can get a better view of what I'm doing. And then I'm going to show you how to install this, because it's actually not that hard. Now, if you are in a rental, check your contract. If you're in anywhere else, make sure that you're authorized to do this. This is the product right here, and I actually just had them on the outside of my house. I'm going to show you what they look like in my house as well. So what's neat about it is they have just these unscrewable top and bottom, and the smart part is the light bulb itself. The rest of this is just a traditional housing. It is waterproof, though. If you take a look, there's a gasket right there. So it is meant to be used outdoors. Now, I guess you could use these indoors if you want to. They're kind of stylish. So just making sure I'm checking, keeping up with the chat. Oh, Andrew's helping out in the chat there. He's saying there's a few affordable KVM brands. John has reviewed a few, mostly organized by the display support, whether they have VGA, HDMI, or DisplayPort. Yeah, great. Thanks for helping out there, Andrew. Yeah, KVM is what you're looking for. So first things first, on one of these kind of devices, you're going to find this plate. Now, these plates have a bunch of different holes, as you can see, all the way around. And the holes are really designed. Let me get this guy all the way over if I can. This is going to be up close for you guys. So the holes are really designed that you can put the mounting screws wherever you want. Like mine, the mounting screws are offset here, 45 degrees. So I can put the holes so that my top and bottom post are vertical. And that's really what you want. Now yours may be horizontal. So yours might already be here. So you can match them there. Now yours may be top and bottom. So you might have to play with this a little bit to get it just right. A couple interesting things. There's a ground wire here. Now, the kit is going to come with everything you need. I'm going to splice that in. I've got a nice unboxing that I'll show you here. Editors, take note. They'll see that later. But this is what you're going to get. So you're going to get some screws that we're going to mount to the box if you don't have them already. You're going to have these little wire ties, or sorry, not wire ties, twist nuts. These wire nuts here so that you can actually make the electrical connection. Again, I know that this thing is off because I have not plugged it in, but let me show you another tool. This is another thing I really like to use. So this is it right here. This is a non-contact voltage meter. So I can go up here and I don't get any sort of buzzing or any sort of sound. Now let me pull this down. I am going to put power to this just to show you what happens. Again, those are bare wires. I'm not going to touch them. Hopefully I remember not to touch them. Let's put it that way. And as I bring it up here, you can see it blinking a different color. Now I have to hold this down to turn the sound on. Okay. Now I can come up to this one and it's actually making a sound. Hopefully you can hear that. So this is a quick way. If you don't have one of these non-contact voltmeters, it's great. It can actually find power on an enclosed wire. So when the wire's even on the outside, you know, it's going to find it all the way around. Now it has different ranges too. It can do from 12 to 1,000 or 70 to 1,000 volts. Sometimes you get on the real low voltage side, you'll get a little bit of a, you know, a false positive there. So this is kind of nice to have. In 1 second, I'm going to make sure your GoPro's all clean. I was just using it outside and it got all wet. Here we go. I want to get you guys the best view here. So let me know if you think that this would be kind of cool for you, if you would use a down up wall sconce. I'm going to unplug this now. So sorry guys, I remembered. You're not going to get that much entertainment. I'm also double checking down here in the corner that this is off. Now, first things first, we're going to install, like I said, this. One thing that you can do, save yourself a little bit of time. The nice thing about this one grounds to the box itself. So if you don't have a grounded box, you can actually do this here. Again, check electrical codes in your area. This is just a demo unit, so I'm allowed to do this in my area. I'm just demoing for you how you might hook this up. This is not electrical advice. Don't take it as such. Don't sue me. That's the short answer of it. I'm just showing you how this would normally be hooked up. I'm going to take a look quick at the chat. So Eliana Gaming, sorry, I don't know how to pronounce your name. Alina Gaming. Jonathan Talks Hardware's little sister. She's got a channel, it looks like. I wonder when you're going to do a stream with my brother. Actually, Jonathan Talks Hardware builds some pretty cool machines. I want to do a stream with him pretty soon. So the answer on that one is pretty soon. Let's put it that way. So now that I've taken those screws out, I'm going to go ahead and align this so that it's up and down, right? And then I can either put the screws on the inside or the outside. Now, if you're worried about wires and getting all the wires back in there, you don't have to. There's plenty of room in this box for the wires, and you're going to be able to move all that around later. So I'm going to go ahead and screw this in here. Now, I did pick up a new toy very recently. It'll actually be on a future show, but I have been using it a little bit. Jury is still out on if I'm super excited about it, but this, believe it or not, is the #1 screwdriver on Amazon right now for a powered screwdriver from the Skill Company. So I'm testing it out. Seems to work pretty well. A little noisy. So I'm putting these screws back in, and we're just aligning this base plate top and bottom Ooh, see, that slipped out of the way for me. You want this thing basically vertical like that. Now, I've used this a bunch, so those holes are a little bit overused. Then we've got our wiring out here. Now, like I said, you're going to actually take one wire nut and you're going to wire the ground to this ground wire. So this one that's yellow and green, you're going to go ahead and just wire that, and that's going to ground the receptacle. And the reason you want this whole lamp body grounded is if something were to happen, if a wire were to short out inside, you want the current to go to ground. So that's why that's there. Now I'm going to shove this back in there, get rid of that one. One down, we got two to go. This is the fun part. Because we're doing two lamps, there's two wires. So there's two neutrals and there's two of the hot wire, they call it. So torque specs. Oh, we got Scott and Tanya in there. Torque specs on it are actually better than my other one. Honestly, I bought that because I burnt up my Fantic, my E1 Pro, my favorite little computer screwdriver. I beat it up because I was trying to use it on something too heavy. And that was all my fault. I am working with them to see if they will warranty replace it, see how they stand by their product. I'll follow up with you guys on what Fantic says there. They want to see a video of it broken. And I'm like, okay, well, I can do that. I've got cameras. So again, make sure you can cover all the insulation here on the wire. You don't want any exposed copper sticking out, but I'm going to go ahead and twist these three wires together, two from the lamp and the one neutral there. And now if you are gutsy, you can hang it from that like I am. If your connection's good, it'll hang. If not, you can set this up with something else. Wise actually included kind of a neat hook that holds the weight of their lamp while you're installing it. I'm going to take the other one and I'm going to wire it to the black wire here. So this is the hot wire here. And I want to make sure that they're all the way to the end. That's one of the most common problems. That's why you see me fighting with this thing, is you want to make sure that the wire's all the way to the end before you start twisting it down. Okay. Perfect. So as you can see, I'm doing this and talking and whatever. I actually did this late last night. You'll see in the pictures that I'm about to show you, because I spent last night putting this thing in. And then you're just going to simply align it here, top to bottom. And actually, I'm going to go back out to the wide so you can see this. And then I'm going to use these little tiny cap nuts that they give you. And we're going to cap off the top and the bottom. Now, unfortunately, this is going to hang a little bit crooked here because I don't have drywall on this wall. An exterior wall would have another 1/2 inch of material, and so that would sit a little bit straighter. But I'm going to go ahead and plug it in now because I know that those connections are right. There we go. And we're already getting a blue out of the bottom. Not much out of the top. Top one, I may not have got that connection exactly right, but I can still demo this. Give me 1 second. Okay. So I'm going to fix that top connection. It's probably one of the connections I made here. And I'm going to see if I can actually dim the studio down a little bit so we can have some fun with this one. Okay, I'll turn that light off. You're going to get to see what the studio looks like darker than it normally is. Here we go. So again, really nice, soft ambient lighting out of this thing. The controller here, and I'm just using the remote control that they include. You can see it right here. Has sliders for intensity, and it's got sliders, so that's intensity, and then it's got sliders for color, so warm color, more of a cool color. Then it's got a color wheel that I can put all the colors in on the wheel, and then I can change the intensity. So that's a purple color is what it's thinking, and actually it probably looks better, to be honest, on this one. So there we go. So there's that intense purple color that you see. I can switch it to a blue with just a tap. I can go through memory modes. Check that out. So yeah, you can see it's kind of got a disco mode there, but it does have a top and bottom. So this thing will cast out of the top and bottom of it. Super easy to install, as you saw here. But yeah, really kind of neat. Now, is it smart? Can you use an app with it? No, this is the remote control. You have to use this remote, but this remote in this My Light system has LED light strips and a bunch of other stuff. So if you were getting this for maybe a parent or somebody that didn't do tech, but you wanted to give them something cool like this. So now it's actually in a rainbow pattern. I'm going to speed it up here so it'll change faster, but now it's just cycling through the different colors that it has. But if you wanted to get something like that, this thing, to sync it up, you turn, and this is something I had to look up just so you guys know, to sync this up is really easy. When you turn the light on, within 3 seconds, you have to hit the zone 3 times. So if you can do that, then the lights will sync up automatically. And they are also bridged so that when the first light connects to the remote, it'll actually send the signal, it'll hop it to the other one. So kind of like a mesh system, a poor man's mesh. But yeah, so there's no other app setup or anything that you have to do. It does have, like I said, very cool different smart modes that you can go through, whether it's just regular color changing, whether it's rainbows, things like that. So yeah, that is from the iYoga LED company. That is what they're calling their modern up-down light. So we're going to go back to the page for this one. It is $159. It does have some really good reviews already. Let's talk about some of the features that it has real quick. There's the remote that you saw me using. That's what I had in my hand here when I was talking about the synchronization. So you definitely want to make sure you follow the instructions on the remote. You can turn them all off with one button press, and you can turn them all on with another button press, and then you can turn individual zones on and off. So if you were going to do maybe a top down one color, bottom up the other color, the easiest way to do that would be to put them on 2 separate zones. So I don't think I did that. I was trying to do that last night. I think I didn't hook the top bulb up properly. That's on me. So there you go. But yeah, there's the remote. So you can take a look at that real quick. I will turn the studio lights back on, and then we're going to get on to our next one. So can you use one remote for multiple sconces? Absolutely. And I actually have 2 sconces mounted. You guys can't even see me. Let's turn these lights back on. I actually had 2 sconces mounted in the front of my house, and I'm going to show you some pictures of that. Does that look right? Just making sure I got my lights proper. There we go. That's what the studio looks like when you turn the lights off. So I'm going to go ahead and unplug this one, get it down and out of our way. But as you can see, super easy to install, comes with instructions and really everything you need, whether you have a fixture on there or not, comes with everything you need to install the fixture safely yourself. So there we go. I'm going to show you some quick pictures real quick. Quick pictures real quick. That's a double. So let me show you some photos here of this one, because it's actually kind of cool. So these are what my outside of my house looked like yesterday with these smart lights. So have the green color there. There's a red color, as you can see. There's going to be some more. I've got some video in here, and it's probably going to throw this whole thing off. But yeah, some kind of an orange color, a purple color. So if you're using this as part of your Christmas decor, maybe you can have them look completely normal like this most of the year. And you walk up, very good brightness too. I have to plug in my electric car when I come back every night. So when I pull up with my electric car, I park outside, I can pull it from right underneath that. So this down lighting actually provides a useful light for my electric car station there. This is just a little bit of a video that I just showed you guys. Let's see. There's my hand, and really close to this area. But yeah, I was playing around with programming it. That's why I was taking it apart there. So again, that is from the iYoga LED company. Let me go take a look and see what the next product up is. Oh, the next product's the fun one for the nerds out there. Let me pull this up real quick. I'm going to share Chrome tab, and it is actually this one. The next product, and I'm going to get it up on the carousel here, is actually a mini PC. Hey, I see a bunch of people in here. Gary, welcome. Serene, welcome back. I like the up-down light, but does it spread out just up-down? The way that it's actually mounted, yes, it does spread out a little bit. I think I just showed you in some of those photos there of my house. It is not, going to be like a floodlight. It definitely doesn't cast forward. So if you live on a street, a lot of times people have those floodlights that cast forward a whole bunch and they kind of blind drivers. The nice thing about this is it's going to cast that soft lighting on your home, but not anywhere else. So you don't have to worry about that. So this is an Intel-based mini PC. Now, this has got the Intel i5-1259U. And I tell you, I was looking all over to find out what would that be the equivalent of recently, because I didn't want, a mini PC that was super slow, that wasn't going to run right. Nobody wants that. Let me pull this thing up because it's actually been running. I was playing with it earlier on the show. This is it right here. That's how small this thing is. It literally looks like a mini set-top box you might have seen back in the day, like a cable converter. I think it's actually smaller than some of those that I've seen before. Now that I got water all over my counter, I'm going to have to figure out how to demo this. Okay, here we go. Get the keyboard out here. And then I'm going to go ahead and hook up the HDMI to it, and you guys are going to be able to see this. I've installed already some Cinebench on it because I wanted to test that out. This does come with DDR4 memory, 16 gigs of dual channel DDR4 there. It's a i5, but it's an 8 thread. So it's 4 cores in this little CPU. It is the mobile edition. Basically, that U at the end means that it's a laptop SKU. So it's going to be a mobile one. It's going to be a little bit slower than some of the other, equivalent numbered CPUs, but I actually ran Cinebench on it. Let's see where it's at. I'm going to go ahead and pull up the PC there. There it is. And let me turn off this share and we'll take a look at it. That's the desktop that I'm on. And let's see here. I'm going to turn my picture off for a second while I put my password in. You guys have eagle eyes, would totally find me, I'm sure. So it rebooted itself earlier, but it's going to come with Windows 11 already right out of the box. So that's another cool thing, is it's going to have a licensed copy of Windows. It's going to be ready to go as soon as you install it. Now and I won't run Cinebench the whole thing for you, but I actually was able to get a Cinebench run out of this thing. And I got let's see, that's the Cinebench results. I don't want documents, I want downloads. Sorry. It's hard to see on this little tiny monitor I've got across from me. My eyes are not what they used to be. So I ran Cinebench on it. And what's funny about it is the single core performance of this is at about 1,000. So you're going to get 1,000 on it, which doesn't sound like a lot, especially when you've got, fancy gaming machines that are hitting, 20, 30,000 or whatnot. Jeremy says, we all know your password is John Loves Hardware. Yeah, it's pretty close, actually. Amazon ad says i5 8259U. I believe that's what the CPU is. I'll have to double check on this, and we'll take a look inside of so Control Shift Escape. This is what I wanted to do with you guys, is to take a look at the exact CPU. So 8259U at 2.3 gigahertz. But if you right click this and you change it to logical processors, that's where you're going to get the 8 hyper threads, basically. So 4 cores, 8 hyper threads. Memory in here, again, 16 gigs. It is shared with the Intel Iris 655 graphics. So it's going to have integrated graphics. That's what they've got here. So the Iris Plus 655. Now I've got Passmark performance test on here. That's another one I usually like to run. The I/O on this thing is really interesting. They actually say it supports triple monitors. Now I might go back and take a look at this, but they say you can do 2 monitors at 4K 30, and then you can do 1 VGA. So it's going to have a variety of I/O. It's going to have VGA outputs. It's going to have dual HDMI outputs. I'll show you those outputs here real close. It's going to have a ton of USB, which is what you want. It's going to have its own audio, and it does have USB-C in the front. I believe it's the 10 gigabit, but don't quote me on that. So pretty versatile machine. I guess where I would see using this is about 3 or 4 different places. A home theater PC. This would be if you need a little bit more to run Plex or something on here, and maybe you've got some external storage or network that you want to connect to. So this could be a really good, because of the monitor outputs, it could be a really good interface to get you to Plex. Maybe you've got some stuff that you want to stream or use, and you don't want to use a Fire Stick or something like that. The other thing is it's kind of got that laptop performance, mode, but it doesn't have a screen. So if you've already got a great monitor and you don't use your laptop, you keep it closed, but you need that level of performance, I think this could be a good laptop replacement if you've been using a laptop as your desktop. So that's another really cool thing. So I don't know if it's going to show my last run here, but it was basically 3840 is what I got out of it. Now, what's surprising, it's supposed to get in the 4000s. I've done no tuning to this thing. I've done no benchmark tuning or anything at all. No overclocking, if that was even possible, undervolting, the whole thing. But what's interesting about that's actually faster than my old show laptop. So what I was running the show on, and I recently upgraded, was an i7, was a 10510U, and that thing only came in barely at 3,000. So this thing's coming in around 4,000 on Cinebench, is already, just from a chip perspective, it's not going to be that slow. So you can install a few things. Tons of memory. The 16 gigs of memory is enough. Andrew's helping us out here. He actually says, I want to pull that in. The late model NUCs can still be used for light gaming, cloud gaming, and some console emulation. Otherwise, they make good smart home hubs, home theater PC, and light played client or server. Exactly. Exactly. So this could work really good for a kid that maybe wants to do Minecraft, that kind of stuff. It's not going to be incredibly graphically intensive. That's another interesting thing about it. I know a lot of people don't use Passmark, but one thing I like about Passmark is it does show me 2D graphics. So I support a lot of business computers for some friends. So they've got different machines, and we always are looking for, older Dell, what is it, 9020s, Dell 5040s, all these little office small form factor machines. This would be smaller than even some of the ultra small form factors that I have. So very, very tiny machine here. I'm just pulling up this because I do like on this one. I'm going to say continue. We're going to use the evaluation. So this is from Passmark, and I apologize if it's not very big. Unfortunately, with Amazon, I don't get much out of it. But I'm going to go ahead and just run the 2D benchmark on here. Let me see if I can tell. Still gathering some information. Okay, let's see if we can let it do that. So one of the things that Passmark does on the main screen, if I go home, is it tries to find out what the different hardware inside of it is. So it's going to have GPU and memory and CPU information here. So this is a good one. This would be kind of fun if you want to run this on your current machine and then run it against, you can see with the results that I'm getting on mine, you could see kind of where this is. So where I actually see this working really, really well is I have a desktop that I need to replace at our church. So our church has one. The guy does light email on it, doesn't even do a lot of desktop publishing or anything, more web browsing, that kind of stuff, needs Windows. I'm like, this is perfect. The other thing is it is going to have Wi-Fi built into this. So it's only 2.4. You're not getting Wi-Fi 6 or no craziness. I'm sorry for you guys like getting freaked out by the screen size here. This is the benchmarking software actually running from Passmark right now. And we're running it on this little tiny Intel based mini PC. So I thought I'd show that to you guys today. I'm going to take it apart here in just a second and show you the IO, but I wanted to show you actually for running Windows in 2D graphics. This is actually doing as good as my new laptop. We'll see what it comes out as, but that's one of the things about the Intels. They definitely do really well in Windows 2D. So if you're not doing anything specific like 3D gaming, the 2D Windows graphics are going to be plenty on this integrated CPU. So I'm taking a look real quick. That was the three purposes I could think of. Again, home theater PC would be an excellent one for this. A laptop replacement, if that's what you're looking for. And even a back of the monitor point of sale would be another great system of this. If you need Windows, or maybe you just want a very consistent, deployment model on these. So you want them to be all the same. You want them to have the same parts. You want them to be affordable. You go look at the Intel desktops right now, and they're ridiculous. I don't know why it is, but you can get a laptop cheaper than you can get a desktop. Well, this ultra small form factor is pretty slick. Yeah, you can see how fast it's throwing 2D graphics around. So 3D graphics would be a completely different story here, but I'm actually pretty impressed so far, even through the compression of my equipment here. I know that it's compressing. This thing's actually running pretty well. So I'd look in the 50th percentile for this thing coming around. Oh, did we get up there? 30th percentile it's saying on this. So a couple times you can get a small score here on Windows or whatever, and that can do it. So 30th percentile for 2D graphics. Then you can go to the CPU and you can run that. Like I said, this is going to be somewhere in the mid 4th gen, 6th gen Intels with the 8 threads. That's pretty cool. And then from a disk perspective, I didn't even run the disk mark on it yet, but let's go back over here and look at this PC. So it does have a 512 gig SSD. Now, I believe it's an NVMe because they gave me an SSD adapter with it if you want to run a regular 2.5-inch SSD, I believe. So I think it has an NVMe, but I could be wrong, but we'll take a look at it. So that's the general machine there. Now it does come with Windows. I didn't actually connect it to my account. And that's one thing that it actually says on top is that if you are having a problem during setup, go ahead and set your account up and then attach your Microsoft account to it. So very cool. Digital signage. Oh man, that's another great one. M.2 SATA SSD is another suggestion Jeremy's saying. Yeah. So again, this mid $300 price range, I believe this one is $70 off. I'll have to go look at the pricing when we get up to the windows here. So I've shut it down. I'm going to unplug it. It does have a 19 volt, very laptop-esque charging port. So If you're looking at one of these and you're trying to wonder the power requirements, could I run this off of a car? Probably not, unless you have an inverter, but it does have that laptop 19 volt. I'm actually going to unplug and show you all the IO here before. Here we go. Welcome to the studio. So let's take a quick look at around this thing. So there's the front IO. So unless I put it in front of my face, you're going to get me. So there's your audio, your dual USB 3s. You're going to have a power button there to turn it on and off. Kind of an odd spot, but you got your VGA on the side there. So you do have a VGA out if this is an upgrade path that you're looking for somebody. Now, these, I think people are going to start shoving connectors in and never have any luck, but that's the ventilation up top there. So that's just vents. That looks like a Kensington lock almost, but it's not. There's your Ethernet, and it is 1 gigabit Ethernet. It's not 2.5. If this thing had 2 Ethernet ports, this would make a perfect little PF Sense box, especially with all those cores. And then you've got your 2 HDMIs here. So when they say 3 outs, they're saying 2 HDMI and 1 VGA at the same time. A couple additional of the USBs, blank on the other side. And I did forget to mention there's a USB-C. So I talked about it a little bit earlier, but you do have a USB-C. Maybe you're charging your iPhone, something like that. So let's take a look at the top down here. Let's get to taking this guy apart and see what's inside of it. I do have to take the water out of the way. That probably would not go well on the warranty. Get all that water out there if we can. Let me know if you have any questions about this, but this is going to be the mystery. What is inside this fancy thing? And I'm going to go ahead and, like I said, I'm trying out this new screwdriver. The one thing I don't like about it is it's fixed speed. So this is from Skill. That's the one I was talking about. So it's either on or off, and the rotation mechanism is here. But what happens is once you hit something like your limit, again, it's got a lot of torque. I know Scott was asking about that earlier. Once you hit the limit, it tends to twist it out of your hand. So it's like kind of interesting. So I can put it top down that way. Taking the 4 screws out of the bottom, and we're going to see what's inside of it real quick. They did not say to do this live, so I'm already breaking the rules. But, you know, if we're going to be PC enthusiasts, we got to at least enthuse a little bit, right? Let's open the hood and see what this thing's got. Hopefully, this guy will just drop out of here. That's my guess. If everything is working right. There we go. Hey, somebody was right. Look at that. There's actually quite a bit going on in here. You guys are already probably seeing this. That is as far in as I can get you with the top-down camera. But let's talk about this. So there's some interesting things. So right here, it's not an Intel-based Wi-Fi, but it looks like that's going to be your wireless card. It's going to have a heatsink enabled M.2 NVMe. So that's pretty cool. I didn't get to go to the other side of the board. I'm not too worried about that, but that's where the CPU and everything else are held. That's going to be interesting. It'd be interesting to see how this board comes out, if the whole thing just drops in. I did not take this thing apart yet, so I have no idea. So then, yeah, we've got our VGA outputs kind of on a daughter board here. We have memory, and this is the SODIMM. So this is the DDR4. This case, they actually gave us a 16 gig. It'll go up to 32. So they did a little bit of a special thing here. So you could technically throw another matching. It's a DDR4 2666. You throw another chip in there, and now you've got 32 gigs of RAM on a machine that you can get for under $400. Now, I don't know if this will allow me to pull the top of the machine off. I do not want to break it, but it appears that I can pull the top of the machine off like that. So there we go. Okay, so that's what they were talking about with the Intel chip here. So we've taken the top of the machine off. It's just clips that are holding it in. There's the fan. So it's going to be like a pretty large notebook fan. That's actually a pretty decent sized fan. So you're going to get quite a bit of cooling here. Looks like there's a couple little spots for some extra upgrades maybe down the road. But there is a second NVMe slot here, which I thought was kind of cool. So is it running only single channel? You could leaving some performance on the table. You know what? It probably is, actually. Andrew was asking this question. I wish I could tap on these questions like I used to. Is it only running in single channel? You know, you're probably right. I'd have to look at the actual board specs. I got in trouble with that the other day when I was talking about the H610, the 13 gen or 12 gen board. And that one apparently is dual rank, dual channel, even with just 2 slots. So I have no idea how that worked. But yeah, so kind of cool. Yeah, but single stick, that would do it. But yeah, that's another interesting thing. Now let me get the box out here. I'll show you what it comes with for as far as accessories. As far as mountability of this could kind of be cool. The other interesting way to use these kind of PCs is maybe you've got a custom app. I know a lot of people do apps for people that are on the go, but they're not like mobile apps. You can't do a mobile app. Maybe it's going to be an inventory management, GPS or something, or maybe it's proprietary. It's written in some sort of Microsoft technology, so you wouldn't be able to run it on a phone or something. Well, you might have to mount this to the inside of something. Well, what's cool about this is it actually comes with this wall mount bracket, which you can actually screw in. It comes with the screws. You screw it into these two holes here. Where is it? Those holes there. There they are. And that can wall mount. So you can put that in there. You can wall mount this anywhere you want. And now you've got a PC. The other thing I actually have, it's out in the inventory, is a Visa mount that holds this PC just like this. So you can mount it to the back of your monitor super easily for these NUC and small inline PCs. So there you go. So now we've taken it apart. We've looked at it. We've seen what's inside of it. Oh, sorry. One more item I needed to show you. It does have one free SATA port. So you would be able, potentially, if you wanted to get creative with the casing, you could run with this adapter that they include a full-size SATA drive with power. It's only going to have, looks like 12-volt power, and then it's going to have the adapter there. So kind of interesting idea there. Thought you guys might like to see that. Any questions on it, let me know. Probably 8 gig soldered, 8 gig removable. No, actually, it's a 16 gig. That's a great question. No, it's just a single 16 gig, and it only has 16 gigs total. So I thought that was quite interesting. Looks like the hard drive holder is on the bottom side. So let me show you that. I was just feeling the bottom of this. So if you were to mount a SATA 2.5-inch drive in there, looks like it just goes right to the bottom side of this. I'm just making sure I get the tabs right on this. It'll be my luck. I'll put it back together wrong. Does that fit? Looks like it does. So we'll throw this thing back together real quick so I don't lose it. But that is what it's coming. So it's a mini PC. It's from Kamrui, Kamrui. Has pretty decent reviews from what I was looking at. Again, it's filling a market space for this, laptop style office PC performance without the screen, and it's a lot more compact. So you can definitely do that. And Windows comes pre-installed as well. So you're losing a little bit here because the Windows is actually included, the license. So if you're going to throw something else on it, you're not going to get the benefit of that. But there's the machine overall. And let me go put the top back on here. Looks like it goes that way. Perfect. And then just a quick for you guys to see, you can see there's the top. There's that message I was telling you about earlier. See if I can hide my face. So it says right there, if you're having problems logging in, go ahead and log in with a regular account and then add your Microsoft account. So overall, like I said, very happy with this. I'll do a little bit more in-depth review before I post it. You're going to see that go on my Amazon shop. Just a quick reminder, if you're not already following, that's another cool thing you can do for me. If you visit my Amazon shop that's down there, scrolling across the bottom, that's going to have this and many other PC and cool deals like that. It does come with a single, very small HDMI cable. So again, back of a set, so if this is going on the back of a TV, maybe, as an embedded system, you could definitely use this. For PC use, you'd want a longer one. And it's going to come with some additional standoffs, it looks like. So there's those standoff screws if you wanted to hard mount this to a wall. Plus some additional I/O screws there if you get a separate hard drive. But that is from Kamrui. I'll go take a quick look at their page before we move on to the next category of products, which I got some more cool stuff to show you guys. I tell you, it's been a great week for cool tech here. Taking a quick look at the chat. Does this NUC come pre-assembled with storage, RAM, or bare bones kit? Is actually completely ready to go. That's a great question coming in from Andrew. He's asking about how is it assembled. When you get it, it is ready to go. So I literally turned it on and it was the Windows first boot setup screen. So you're going to be able to do that. Now you could go ahead and, install stuff the way you wanted and then generalize it. So if you were looking at like fleet deployments of these things, you could definitely do it that way. But yeah, it was ready to go. As soon as I turned it on, it went right into Windows 11. So very cool on that one. Let me pull up the Amazon page. We're going to see what's next on the show. Oh, yes. This is going to be a great one. Very excited about this. Let me pull that up here before I forget. I'm going to pull this one up, and I'm checking the Amazon chat. Hey, everyone. Here we go. This next product on Amazon is really slick. I'm excited about this one. I'm going to share my Chrome. And this one I just got to play with today for the first time. So I've unboxed it and I kind of played around with it on the bench here. And I thought, wow, this is going to be either it's going to be an amazing product or it's going to be a dud. And so far, it's pretty amazing. So this is from Pelc. I'm going to pull it out here because I've got a separate unbox video for you. But I'm going to put it on the top down, and I've got fingerprints all over it because I'm doing that today. But it is a very cool product. Is a rear view mirror replacement. So basically you put this over top of your rear view mirror and it's a dash cam. So you can actually have a 4K front and rear dash cam with GPS, with the automated driver assist system in there. It also has the blind spot detection. It's using the video from the rear backup camera to tell you when somebody's coming up on you. Has night vision, has parking assist, has all these kind of crazy things with a 32 gig SD card that comes with it. You can see it down here in the lower corner. That's where I'm at. But yeah, it's 33% off right now. So it is only $119. Let me go ahead and just give you a demo of it live because I think that's the best way to show it. So there is it. And there's me in the corner. It looks like everybody's normal. Look how thin that thing is. It looks like just a slap on wider, like you'd see at maybe the auto parts store. It looks like a rear view mirror replacement. Well, yes and no. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to plug it in and you're going to see this screen come to life. And it's almost like one-way glass because if it's off, it works like a regular rear view mirror. When it's on, now you get this very high resolution screen. Now, I'm not going to be able to show you how high resolution this thing is. It's just literally not going to focus real well. Let me see if I can zoom out a little bit, see if it'll capture focus better. Now I got too many studio lights in here, so I might have to go to video on this one. But yeah, so it's going to have a whole bunch of menu options here, and those different menu options, the system settings, it's going to have GPS, smart driving capability. This is where you configure the driver assistance features in here. It's going to have the different camera settings that you can go to here. So you have G sensors, just like a regular dash cam. But one of the crazy things about it, I have to show you, is that it actually has, if I go to dash cam mode, now this is going to be kind of funny. I'm going to have to go to the side camera to show you this. Look at that. That is not a rear view mirror. It's looking at me. It's saying careful people. It's telling me to be watch out for the person, but that's the forward facing 4K dash cam and it is brilliant. You look at it and it looks like an actual picture. It is so clear. Now what's cool about it is if you swipe, if you have the rear camera enabled and you swipe, you can go into different modes. Let me go grab the rear camera here. So this is the box that it comes in. So you're going to get that, the P12 Pro. It's going to have, like I said, the GPS. It's going to have the rear view camera. Now, rear view camera leaves a little bit to be desired because it can only mount upside down. That was the one thing that kind of bothered me about it, but I was able to make it work. I did not have time to permanently install it, but where I want to put this is in my old truck. I have a 2000 F350 that I tow all the time with. And I'm like, you know what? I really want to have this. So, okay. I just installed that and I pushed it down so it turned itself off. So let's see. Oh, you know what? I may not have enough out of my little Walter. That's how clear it is when it's on mirror mode, right? So again, like I said, it's trying to turn on there. I just don't have quite enough out of my little extension corded power strip here. Let me see if I can get straight to the wall and do this demo. If not, I might actually have to plug it into 12 volts. So it comes with a 12 volt adapter, which is plenty. Okay, we're going to go over here. So I've got that plugged in right now, right? And so you're actually seeing the different dash cam settings. So if I go to dash cam, so you're seeing my hand and what's behind it over here, right? Now I actually have the rear view camera plugged in. So check this out. So this camera is a rear view camera plug-in. I go to the right, guess what? That is the little portable camera now. So this is this guy that you mount on the back of your car. And now you can see behind your car. And if I do this right, you can see me. So it's a real-time view, almost zero latency. Now it's actually trying to flag me as a person because it has the driver assist features on. But check this out. If I slide sideways one more time, front and rear dash cams show up simultaneously. So you see the rear dash cam where I'm facing you, and then you see my hand, which is covering up the front dash cam. So very, very cool, very slick product in here. I'm going to go back to the regular screen, and I'm going to go ahead and just load up some video so you guys can see the quality here. Again, has a lot of those emergency features. So if you do get in an accident, it'll lock the video automatically. That's another important thing that it does here real quick. Let me go in. Now I have some video. I'm just trying to figure out which one I want to show you first because there's some great video of this thing running. I'm going to get up and load that. I think I'm going to do this a little bit different way just because I don't want you guys to have to wait for me to share that video a bunch. I'm going to plug right into the show laptop and give you a direct feed. So if my wife sends me a message and says hi, we're always risking it here when we go right to the show laptop. So there we go. So this was actually earlier today. This was me installing it here. So now you guys can see that. So that's actually the thing being installed. And you know, the different menu items I was going through, and there's the different rear view. So that's what it does. It literally replaces your rear view mirror. And that's the little rear view camera that it uses. So this mounts right over top of that. Super easy. Let's see if I actually have the installation steps covered here. So there's the box of it. I'm going to go a little bit faster so you guys can see it. So there's what I did. I actually mounted it over top. Now, it'll probably take you a good hour to run the wires, get everything installed the way that it probably should be. So, you know, you're going to have top and bottom. It took me a little bit of time to get it going. Let me pull this up here. This is going down the road just so you can see it. So there's the front and rear dash cam. That's how rainy it was today. And so now you're watching my GoPro, and this is always kind of the funny thing with when I'm doing this kind of stuff is my GoPro looks great, right? My GoPro is going to be, you know, very expensive, but very high quality video. What I want to show you is actually what the video from this looks like, because we got two different kinds of video. This is video front, and there's the camera on it. So this was me driving down the road. It looks just as good. Maybe it's a little bit dark, but again, it was getting dark out. This is me driving down the road, and this is the 4K front dash cam, and it's all of 4K. Now it's going to get encoded with that video data. You'll see up here, it has the 31 miles an hour. That's coming from the GPS. So you can prove your speed to a police officer if they ever needed to investigate an accident. But look at the frame rate and the quality on that. It's just gorgeous. Much better than a lot of the dash cams. There's a few standout dash cams I've tested on here, but for a dash cam that has all of the features, this is one of the few. Now, this is the rear camera. It's only 1080, and actually it's a little bit darker than it was. Let me go back here earlier. So this is right when I got it installed. I stopped, I installed the rear dash cam in my back window, and there you go. And what's funny, so the rear dash cams also get encoded with the GPS data here, and this is encoded into the video. So if there's ever an accident, they can't say that, oh, you lied or whatever. It's actually in the raw video. There was a guy that pulls out behind me here, and what's funny is it actually does the collision detection and everything behind you as well, which is cool. So it'll draw boxes around cars as you're driving. It actually warns you. It does a color on. There's the guy right there. It didn't actually draw the box on the video, though. So it draws the box when you're live, but it actually shows a lighted color on each side of the the mirror, the display, on which side the car's coming up on you. So if you have an older car, and I know cars are getting way expensive these days, so sometimes people are driving their older cars longer, and it doesn't have all the cool safety features, doesn't have the blind spot protection or all these other cool things, you can now get that in a package like this. So what's funny is I actually passed an accident when I was driving through today to test this thing out. And I'm like, oh, I wish those guys had a dash cam, because it makes it so much easier. You don't have to deal with all the misery that comes with not having some, you know, defensible stuff there. That's one of the things that was definitely frustrating. So that is from, let's take a look at it, the Pel-C company. So Pel-C, this is the P12. This is a dual dash cam smart rear view mirror, I'm going to call it. It comes with the flash card, so it's going to have 32 gig micro SD card to store your content there. It's going to have all of the things that you need, including the USB Type-C charger right here. Another cool thing that comes with is that the charger is going to have another type A port for your phone. So if you already have one port and you don't want to use it up, you're actually gaining another port here. So you're not losing your cigarette lighter, you're gaining another port. It does have the separate GPS. Now, what's interesting about that, most of the time the GPS is going to be integrated, but if you've got this thing in a big metal RV or something that doesn't have great signal, this could be really, really valuable. I could see having a dedicated GPS. It's going to give you the higher resolution and accuracy of a dedicated GPS antenna. It's also going to come with this little feature here. So this is going to be to pry it off. If you've glued it on and you need to move it, you can do this. And it comes with a couple extra glue strips. So if you are adjusting it and getting it just right, you can practice with that. So I'm taking a look at the chat real quick. Jeremy's saying that could be really useful. I've been thinking about getting a dash cam. I'm telling you, this is going to go in my F350. And I already have a backup camera, which is kind of interesting. But I want to add this because it's going to give you that front and rear dash cam ability. And I want to mount it high up on the back of my truck because I want the lane assist and the warning when somebody's coming up in my blind spot. So that smart blind spot feature that it had, that's really, really valuable. It's also going to look out for pedestrians. It's going to look out for forward collision alerting. It has that capability as well. Can you plug an existing backup camera? Travis Reed, welcome back to the show, my friend, asking about that. If your backup camera comes with the mount that this thing has, let me show you that, is the mini phono connector. So it's going to be lots of little tiny prongs. If you had the video stream from it, you could, but honestly, it's got enough cables. I would say use this in addition to that because a lot of times those backup cameras turn off if they're not activated. Like this thing actually does have a red hot wire here. So it has this red wire that you attach basically to your rear backup bulb. So when your white bulb comes on, it's going to auto switch to the rear camera. So great question, but I would actually say just, go ahead and install this in addition to your current backup camera because it's going to have more features. It's going to do the video direct, even if you're not in reverse, and it's going to keep that going all the time. So great product. I love to see cool tech like this. This was definitely one that I've been really excited about. Let me see if I've got their page up here. I want to show you a couple extra pictures because I was not able to do it justice. But like I said, for the price, an amazing product. You'll pay this for a regular forward only dash cam. This again is a rear view mirror replacement. It's basically a mini computer on your rear view mirror. Front and rear dash cam. It's going to have the micro SD card. This is the collision warnings that we were talking about, right? So this has got pedestrian collision warning. It's going to have the forward collision warning assist. So it's going to tell when a car is coming at you. And it is really cool because as you're driving your rear view mirror, instead of having an extra dash cam stuck on your window like I have in all my cars, this thing actually just looks like a rear view mirror. It doesn't look hokey. It doesn't look like you have something else. So it's going to do that, and it's very seamless. And then lane departure warning. So if you're starting to drift, it'll automatically find that. And then it does the same things for the rear. So it's going to have the blind spot detection, also parking assist here as well. So it's telling you about that. Very cool. Yeah. And the 4K quality, you see a lot of these things tag 4K, but then it's a 1080 camera. This is definitely a 4K picture out of the front. I was very happy with the clarity on it. You may or may not be able to actually pick license plates. I didn't play it where you could see a license plate because of Amazon rules. I want to play it safe. But that is definitely a cool product from them. And you just happen to, you have to have one of these days. I hate to say it, but there's so many people that are just, hit and runs. And then you have to deal with your insurance or people that have a different story. My wife and I had an issue, and I think you've heard about this with my other dash cams, where we didn't have a dash cam, and it was just a pain because the person had lied about how she was driving, and there was no way that the damage could have happened the way that he was trying to explain it. And a dash cam would have saved us a week of going back and forth with insurance companies. Luckily, they figured it out, and she was A-okay. But yeah, it's one of those things that dash cams save a ton. Oh, that was the other cool thing about the routing features of this. So again, it's got the GPS, the high resolution GPS. It's going to have the cameras and everything. It's actually got some software that you can download, this DV player, and you can merge the GPS data that's encoded with the video, and you can actually watch it driving with speed and everything. So if you're a parent and you don't have one of these installed on your kid's car, I know like all the kids in there are like, no, don't say that. But if you're a parent that doesn't have one of these on the car, do it for your child, where you're actually going to protect them in case there's ever an accident. And it might make some teachable moments if your kids have been maybe driving too fast or not driving the way that they should. So very, very cool product from the Pelsi company. I was very excited to see that. Got just a couple, two products left on the show. These ones are a little bit harder to demonstrate in person, but I wanted to bring them up for you guys anyway, because if you need this kind of product, it is very valuable. And I want to thank these brands that sent this out, because it is not easy to find products like this. So the next product that's coming up right now is actually from the Foxwell company. Let me make sure I get that tagged here. Is the rear view camera weatherproof? Absolutely. Rear view camera can be mounted outside. Harley's asking that on the Amazon chat. Harley, absolutely. There we go. Just responded to him. So this is the product right here. It is $6.99, but it does have the ability for a $200 coupon. So what are we looking at here? Well, this is an automotive diagnostic scanner, but it's a bidirectional. Now, what does that mean? So I'm going to show you here in just a few minutes. I'm going to show you a automotive scanner that is not bidirectional, if I can see where I put it. So this is your traditional OBD2 scanner, right? So I'm going to pull this up on the side. So this is from Autel. This is coming up next, but this is like, I want to find a code because my car threw a code. This from Foxwell is my car threw a code and I want to fix it. So if it's a code that maybe has already been, resolved, you can clear it with this. If you want to get into the deep internals of what your vehicle is doing. Now, I've seen cars that maybe have a loose wire on a sensor, so they might throw a sensor code, but then the sensor works just fine. So you put the new sensor in, you drive it a little ways, and then the code comes back because there's an intermittent signal. Or you want to do like fuel mapping and see what your fuel burn rates are. If you want to look at how your injectors are working, if you want to do all sorts of leak down and crazy coolness, that's what this product is for. So I'm going to get on the top down camera and I'm going to boot it up, because this from Foxwell is basically a computer. So it's an automotive diagnostic computer. It's running the Android operating system. So we're going to give it a few seconds to boot up here. It does come with this second device. So this is how it interfaces. It's a wireless OBD2 port connection. So you plug this into your 1995-6. It was like half that year that they switched over to OBD2. So if you've got a 96 or newer, you pretty much have OBD2. And depending on how new your vehicle is, you can use this. There are other options out there. There's USB ones. There's apps that you can get for your phone. But if you're serious about this, this from Foxwell is where it's at. Now, you see this little TPMS icon? It has another capability here, which is it can actually scan the wireless TPMS signal. That's what this option here, hopefully it'll come through in the camera. That's what this TPMS option is. So if I pick that, now it can automatically scan the VIN of the vehicle. If you have it plugged in, it can figure out exactly what you got. But let's go through here. Let's say we have a Chevy. I'm going to do manual selection. I've got a Chevy Camaro. I've got a 2013 Chevy Camaro because I never got out of high school. No, I'm kidding. This is the TPMS. This is going to show you the raw TPMS data here. And you can do all the programming and other stuff that you need to do. You can actually go through the different units here. So there's all the Bluetooth items that are around. Like I said, this thing runs Bluetooth Android operating system. So I can connect to this device, which is already paired to it. And I can actually do the smart VIN lookup. And I'm going to exit diagnostic, and I can go through and I can see real time all of the stream data. Now you can actually reprogram this. So I've got a problem in my F350 I was telling you about earlier. That F350, I put new tires on it and the speedometer is way off. Well, turns out I can actually go into this because it's bidirectional, and I can program the new wheel size into the ABS module. So what's amazing, the difference that you'll see between these really simple handheld, they don't tell you anything about the problem, and something like this is you can pull codes out of these modules that are not even shown at all. So you may have had something happen a while ago, like on my car, the battery was dead months ago. It doesn't have a code now, and it doesn't have a fault code stored, but you go in through the modules and you can actually see when that happened. So it was kind of a cool thing. Another neat feature of this. I'm going to go here real quick. Yeah, code readers are going to be regularly very useful. This one is if you're a shade tree mechanic, if you're a garage junkie, if you like to build and tinker and tune your own vehicles, and even boats now are starting to use this kind of stuff. It's amazing how OBD2 is getting so popular. I'm going to turn the screen down on this if I can a little bit. Will it let me do that? me go into here. I wonder if I can go into settings. I'm going to turn the screen down just for you guys, but the screen is incredibly bright on this thing. Let's see if I can do that. System settings. So what's funny is you go into system settings, and now we're basically an Android, right? So hopefully I can turn this down and you can see it. There we go. So just a little bit down. I'm actually in the Android operating system side here. I'm going to hit back to home. It is rechargeable. So it's going to have a USB-C. It's also going to have a data logging port. So if you want to maybe do a run down a drag strip and you want to see everything about the engine, you can watch all those monitors, log it to a USB flash drive, or maybe you just want to snapshot the screen, because I'm going to show you some cool pictures coming up here. Let me see if I can get those up here. I happen to have a little electric vehicle. So my little electric car, it's a plug-in hybrid. Everybody that knows me has been abused by it because I like it so much. It's kind of fun. It's a Ford C-Max. So it goes 20 miles on electricity and then it goes over to gas. And so it's kind of a plug-in hybrid. But this is where it identified my vehicle. I didn't have to do anything, and I didn't have to be online. That's the other thing. There's no subscription. Some of the other solutions like Forescan and other things like that, you got to pay for the extended license, and they're kind of cool. But again, this is an all-in-one solution. You pick up this, you have it. So in this case, my battery pack state of charge, you see how it goes down and then it comes up. That's actually me driving my little hybrid around. And this is when I was hitting the brakes and I'm coming down a hill, it started to charge back up. And when I accelerated, I can do that. So it actually has real-time data logging. You're actually watching this thing go up and down. And this can be, again, for your fuel mixtures. This can be for your O2 sensors. So this is going to tell you, like I said, the codes and the code readers, they just tell you what's wrong. This is going to tell you what's going on with your engine and all these computerized stuff. And it's going to read out of those body control modules. You can set things like maybe automatic door timings, other things that your vehicle manufacturer may not do for you or may do at the dealership and charge you money for. You can do these yourself. Now, again, be really careful because some of these settings are so deep down in the system, you can get yourself into trouble. So let me show you here real quick. Like in this one, the lighter color is my accelerator pedal position. This is kind of like black box stuff if you were thinking like airplane stuff. It literally has accelerator position, hybrid battery state of charge, battery state, current. So it's showing you all of those different numbers. Like when I was accelerating, as you see here, my battery was draining, and when I quit accelerating, it started to charge up. So that's another kind of cool nerdy stuff. But this can work for really anything, whether it's fuel mapping you're doing, or even your actual tire that's low. This was kind of funny with TPMS. You have a unique sensor ID on every single wheel. I had a problem the other day because it's winter and everything's cold out, where our TPMS kept going off on our Ford, and we had to go around to each one and check the pressure. With a scan tool like this, I can actually see exactly which tire it is that's reporting that it's low. So that's another really, really slick system on here. Other kind of things that you may or may not use this for: resetting the battery age or battery type. So a lot of the newer cars now, when you replace the battery yourself, shade tree mechanic style, there's a counter that's going on that will tell you the exact age of your battery to the computer, and it changes how fast or how much charge it allows. If you don't reset that battery charge or battery age, you're actually going to be charging your battery incorrectly. So having a tool like this where you can actually interrogate and do that is another neat thing. And in my littlest car, one of the funniest things that they do, I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but when you turn your fog lights on, if you turn your brights on, your fog lights turn off. And sometimes if you're rural out in the country, who knows why they do that, but they do those things. There's a thing called Bambi mode where you can actually turn all four lights on, but most of the time it's disabled. And in my car, it's disabled from the factory, but you can turn it on with this. The other thing is your daytime running lights. So I believe they're legally required in Canada, but in the US, they're not required. Now, I like daytime running lights, but if you wanted to turn daytime running lights off to save power or bulbs or whatever, you can do that with these kind of tools. So that's another really interesting thing. So this is from Foxwell. This is a TPMS, and it does have a very nice hook on the back. It even has a camera. I think this device, I don't know when you'd use that camera, but let me show you that real quick. It's going to have a little flash and a camera right there. So you might be able to take pictures of the vehicle that you're servicing or taking a look at. But if you're doing real auto mechanic work and you don't have one of these style tools, very, very interesting tools. It's similar to the ones from Autel, AUTEL. That's another one that looks very similar to this. Let me pull up their simple diagnostic scanner because that's coming up next. And I'm going to take a quick look at the chat and make sure I didn't miss anything on chat here. So we've been taking a look at the Foxwell, the NT809TS. Take it out of limp mode. That's great. Travis Reed says you can use it to stop your Chevy or V8 truck from trying to go into 4-cylinder. That might be a fuel economy thing, but yeah, absolutely, Travis. Great point. He's saying here, you can program it to quit doing the economy mode for sure. Very, very interesting. Let me go back here real quick. I want to look at the Amazon page for this because I don't think I showed you, again, all of the different ways that you can use this, but I do want to cover that real fast. So there you go. It does come with 4 TPMS sensors. I forgot to bring the box out, but the TPMS sensors that it comes with can actually screw onto the tires here. And if you don't have TPMS on your car, you can screw these things in. It actually has replacement ones. So if you don't want to use your factory TPMS, you can use this one and you can do that. So definitely has that ability. ABS pump motor. That's a great point. If you're doing your brake jobs nowadays on some of these newer cars, you almost have to have one of these to be able to disable some of the features that come with some of these new cars, whether it's ABS, whether it's air conditioning, defrosting capabilities, windows and door locks. That's another real important one, whether they roll up, roll down. If you replace a window motor, sometimes they're just not the same compatibility wise and they won't auto roll up. So this can do that. You can calibrate those kind of things. So there you go. Oil life resetting. You can do all of that stuff. DPF regeneration. So there's your exhaust stuff, calibration, seat recalibration, and then the stuff I told you about was the battery stuff. So if you're popular shade tree mechanic, this is definitely something that you should have, especially on newer vehicles. I do like the fact that it's Wi-Fi. You can get some of these that are wired, but man, it's nice to be able to just throw this thing in the passenger seat, go drive around, data log, whatever you want, and come back to it. So very cool. 7-inch touchscreen. It does the automatic VIN lookup, and it is pre-programmed with a ton of VIN information in there. So it instantly found my pretty unique C-Max, and it worked pretty well on that. So very good. So I'm just taking a look and make sure I didn't miss anything. And that is from Foxwell. There's the whole kit and what it comes with. So you can see there's the TPMS sensors. So those are actual valve stems that go in your tire. So that's going to replace, if you don't have TPMS on your vehicle, that will give you TPMS on your car. So if you want to have that tire pressure monitoring, you can do that. If you want to read ABS and airbag codes, that's another thing. Like a lot of times ABS lights or wheel speed sensors, that's really common. But this will actually read in there. It won't just give you the trouble code. It'll read in there and tell you which one it is and all that other information that usually you have to go to your mechanic for. So got lots of mechanic friends that are cringing right now because they're like, oh, John's showing the dirty secrets. No, these tools exist. They are cool and they are an investment. So if you are a mechanic that can get use out of these tools, it's great to see these at this price point. This one is $699. It's $200 off right now if you want to pick this one up. And that is from Foxwell. It's a TPMS and diagnostic scanner. So last product up on the show. Jonathan says, I know nothing on automotives. Yeah, no, you'll get there. It's a thing. So I'm going to pull the last product up. And this is what I started out with. This is one you should never not have one of these. These things are affordable enough. This one's on sale, I believe, for $18.99. This is from Autel. This is a pocket glove box size OBD2 scanner. So where that other one is the full Monty, this is like the little calculator. Like that one's a computer. This thing's like a little tiny calculator. This is going to pull the codes for you from your 1996 or newer car, and it's going to show you on screen. Now, it is going to let you reset those codes, but I have to warn people like my mom, who constantly get codes and then she just resets them. Now, if you do that before you sell a car, that's disingenuous and I wouldn't recommend that, but you can actually turn off a check engine light if you've already fixed a problem. Maybe it was a misfire because you had a bad spark plug wire. Once you put the new spark plug wires on, that doesn't go away. So having a tool like this is a diagnostic scanner, a code reader. The other one's a diagnostic scanner. This is a code reader. There's the back of it here. This is from one of the most popular brands that are out there. You can get some off-brand versions of these, but this one actually works really well. I'm very happy with it. So I've bought many of these. I gave my mom one of these because she's on around the country moving business. She does like 10,000 miles a month. I kid you not. It's crazy how many miles she drives a day. But she has one of these and she plugs it in. A lot of times she gets elevation codes. She'll get a code that's thrown because she'll drive over a mountain pass, towing heavy vehicles, towing heavy trailers. And so it'll set a code. She can look that up and realize if it's something important or not important, and then clear it real quick if it's not important and keep moving. So this one will not tell you the exact text readout of what's wrong. So you are still going to have to come back to the internet and look up what a P0301 is, right? But that's the basic code reader right here. Let's take a look real quick in Amazon and see what this one's going for. I did think, I don't know if it's a lightning deal. It doesn't look like it's a lightning deal, but it is a great price. So right now it is $18.39. It's $24 normally. Like I said, you can save a little bit by getting an off-brand cheaper one, but this one actually works really well. I'm really happy with this company. There's all the different manufacturers that it has. Now, some very unique manufacturers will have different levels of codes. That's where you might need the diagnostic scanner. But here you've got this. Now it's saying that it can show you some freeze frame data. Not exactly sure how much level that this is going to get to. I haven't played with that because I would definitely use a scanner, but you can read and clear codes with this. It will turn off your check engine light. Somebody says, ready for your annual smog check? So if you're in a place, we were recently, where you can't have any check engine lights on because most of the times they're for emissions, then you do need a code reader like this to even save yourself a little bit of money to make sure that there's no codes logged in there that might be getting you when you go to do your smog check. So very cool. Oh, now I'm getting you guys my view. So you go. That's what we get. So that has been the show today. This is show number 52. It's the last show for 2022. I want to thank you guys all for tuning in. We got a ton of people sitting in there on YouTube. I thank you all that have joined today. I'm going to double check the Amazon chat. Thanks, everyone. Just a quick reminder, if you have not followed me, it would do me a really awesome favor if you went to that URL that's in the video description. If you're already in Amazon, go ahead and click that URL. That's going to take you to my Amazon shop. I do put a ton of videos out, usually about 2 to 3 a week. And I'm hoping to change some things up next year, hopefully for the better. I tried a new show laptop here. We might be, I like going back to a touchscreen. I think you'll see me with a touchscreen next week already. We'll be doing that. And if you guys have not, make sure that you do follow me on those other socials as well to get any updates. I really do appreciate it. So thanks everybody for tuning in. I will catch you guys all in a future video. Jonathan says he doesn't have passion for automotive things. I do want to talk about one thing that Jonathan Talks Hardware does have passion about, and that's PC building. So I do too. I've been doing a lot of cool 3D printing, PC builds, other stuff. I'm going to try to hook up with Jonathan here to do a really cool PC build for you guys. One of the only people that I know of on Amazon that's actually building PCs live. But I've got a whole wall full of PC equipment that I need to get through before it all gets timed out because it gets too old. So we're going to do some PC build and other cool stuff live. But that's Jonathan Talks Hardware, another great YouTuber if you want to check him out. This has been John the Net Guy. Thank you guys all for tuning in to Tech on Tuesday, and I will catch you guys in the next one.